staff, management, or ownership of this station.
It's time to get on the right path with RightPath Real Estate Radio with Jason Bible. Get the answer to your question that's keeping you from taking action and succeeding today. Get ready. The guy that will put your fears behind you is on the air now. Taking calls at 713-785-1817. Toll free 877-881-0271. Now here's your host, Jason Bible.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. This is a live show today. I know some people are taking off because of Columbus Day. A lot of businesses or banks in particular are closed, and so are the title companies. Although I'll tell you, they're probably there. They're just catching up on work. They just can't send wire transfers. So, welcome to the show. It's Jason Bible, RightPath Real Estate. I'll remind you guys, we've got an event coming up October 20th, 29th, and 30th. Sign up on our website, rightpathrealestate.com. Or you can send Jamie an email, JAMIE at rightpathrealestate.com. So this weekend, I was up in Seattle. I left Friday, so Tom ran the show on Friday. So thanks for doing that, Tom. And got up to Seattle. The weather, kind of typical Seattle weather. A little bit of rain, but temperature-wise was just absolutely fantastic. The group I was speaking in front of, it was a Quest IRA event. And I was just giving some case studies, examples of what folks can do with their IRA money. We also had a little meetup the Friday night. So I got to meet some Seattle investors. And, it was interesting hanging out with those investors Friday night and then the whole group of folks Saturday. It's always good to get out there and talk to different folks in different markets. And I'll tell you, the only thing that I've really found different in different markets is price point and what I call market efficiency. So one of the things I want to dispel is the idea that there is a market in which is not competitive. In other words, a market in which you are not going to have multiple bids on assets. Every market is competitive. And why is that? Because if it's a market of any value, there'll be multiple investors in it. Now, I realize that just makes sense. Like, that makes sense to me. And when you hear it, that sounds very logical. But when you're practicing in your business, all you see is competition all around you. And the reality is that there's no place in which you can move, in which you can be, that has less competition. That's the reality of business. And that's just, that's just reality. There's no other way around it. It's fascinating to me when people say real estate is passive. There is no such thing as passive investments in real estate. This is not a mutual fund where you can just send your money to and then magically you make money. That's not what this is. You're going to have to find these assets. First you're going to have to build a team. You're going to have to find these assets, fix them up in some form or fashion, and then you either rent them out or you loan on them if you're an owner finance person, or you flip them. But the idea that there's a hidden market out there of all these deals, all these hidden deals, there's got to be, surely your market's not as competitive as mine. That's the funny thing. When you get around a bunch of national real estate folks, and somebody will say, my market's not as, my market's not nearly as competitive as yours, and yours has got to be more competitive. No. I can tell you right now that they are all competitive markets, and they always will be. They're just going to be competitive markets. That's the reality of this business. And it was interesting having that discussion with some folks and realizing that all markets are competitive, but there are differences in market efficiency. What does that mean? Down here in Texas, when you look at HAR, for example, Houston Area Realtors, it is a nationally recognized, award-winning MLS. It is fantastic how HAR has set the technology side of HAR. Most places are not set up in that fashion, meaning that it's super easy to search. And if you're a realtor, it's easy to get those comps. I mean, just the technology around the MLS here in South Texas is phenomenal. In other markets, buying and selling real estate is not quite as efficient as it is down here. So let me give you a good example. There's a couple of folks I was chatting with that were telling me how they were getting their deals. A significant number of them were getting their deals off of MLS. And what was interesting to me is this particular individual had gone in and bought essentially a group of lots. They haven't been subdivided yet, but she's going to subdivide those lots out and sell them to builders. And I said, hey, are there a lot of builders down there or that are in that market, or what's the story? She said, oh yeah, there's a bunch of builders. I said, well, why didn't they just go in and buy this particular parcel right off MLS? And she said, well, they're really not designed to do that. And I said, well, what do you mean? I said, well, builders out here, they kind of look for real estate agents and possibly some wholesalers or other types of sellers that really have all the lots subdivided. They got the lot lines done. I mean, really, they're just looking for a turnkey lot to get started. And I thought, man, in Texas, at least in Houston, I mean, a lot of these land deals, in fact, the first couple of land deals I had ever looked at, I had problems getting comps for, in part because most of these deals take place off of MLS. They're pocket listings from real estate agents that get sold to developers and builders. They are wholesale deals where they just go directly to builders and developers. So a lot of these things never even make it on MLS down here in Texas. But up there, there are certain segments of the market that are relatively inefficient, and they can go in there and get a hold of some of these deals, the smaller, newer investors, where you wouldn't be able to do that up here. Now, does that mean we're in a less competitive market or more competitive market? Not really. Really just means that some markets are less efficient than others. So the other fascinating thing that we learned this past weekend was that some folks have the idea, and I get it. It comes from the get-rich-quick, real estate seminar gurus. And they get the idea that you're going to make a couple of offers, and then all of a sudden you're going to become fabulously wealthy. And in part, it's kind of that greed gland going overboard. You got this idea that you've got, you can literally get something for nothing. And what I find is that when you sit down with somebody and say, hey, what is it you're trying to do in real estate? And they're trying to set up a legacy for their future. They're trying to buy back, quote, their freedom from kind of corporate America or a really lengthy job week, spending 60, 70 hours working. So what they're really trying to do is buy their freedom. Investing and buying freedom. However, what they don't realize is that freedom requires sacrifice. Always. You're going to have to sacrifice something to get something better. That's just the reality of the world. I mean, it's a hard and fast rule like gravity. The idea that you won't have to work that much to build a portfolio of wealth, that will build a portfolio that will endure, that will be a true legacy, is going to require sacrifice. I don't know a single successful investor that didn't have to sacrifice something to build a portfolio that allowed them to be free. That's just the reality of it. There's no other way to get around it. You're going to have to sacrifice something for freedom. I got to meet a number of investors, some who had done multiple deals, some folks who are just starting out, some who were doing deals already but were trying to figure out the IRA track. It was a really interesting mix of folks.
2 minutes.
And one of the things that I always find so fascinating, and I'll never forget this gentleman, he and I are chatting, and his story is so similar to everybody's story that I hear when I'm out on the road or I'm out, meeting with other investors. And that is, and usually it's a 30, 45-minute conversation. It starts out something like this. Hey, Jason, what you and Tom have done is absolutely crazy. He goes, I know you sat up here on stage and told us how you built this thing, but how did you really build it? And I go, this is how we really built it. We bought and sold some houses. We put all the money back into marketing. We bought and sold some more houses. We put more money back into marketing. It's that simple. No, really. There's a secret, right? And I'd say, no, John, there's no secret here. The secret is you got to do some hard work. That's really the secret.
1 minute.
When we get back from the break, I'm going to talk about a little bit about John's business because it's very similar to about 97% of y'all out there. And I think it'll be helpful to provide some of those insights because it's the same conversation I have with so many of you guys. It's Jason Bible, RightPath Real Estate. Be back right after the break.
Your mic's off.
Join a group of hardworking investors willing to share their knowledge and experience with others. We're not just another guru-driven club. We're a community of Houston's most successful real estate investors. Discover more at richradio.org. The Realty Investment Club of Houston, the Rich Club, has taught more real estate investors than any other program in the state. Join the Rich Club and become part of the most informed community in Houston. Quickly discover your investment options. Receive the information you need to get started. Learn what it takes to avoid the pitfalls of real estate investment. You have questions? We have answers. If you're considering investments in Houston's real estate, then richradio.org is the quickest way to join the community and learn how to make money in today's market. Learn more about the education and community at richradio.org. Join our community to learn what it takes to make money in Houston. Visit richradio.org. That's richradio.org.
From Conroe to Galveston, Orange to Flatonia, and all points in between, Texas General Insurance Agency is trusted by individuals and businesses across the great state of Texas. Whether you're searching for the best auto insurance in Fort Bend, a flood policy for a Galveston beach property, or coverage for your rental and investment homes in Houston, Texas General Insurance Agency understands your unique needs. Throughout the Lone Star State, their experienced and trusted independent agents offer guidance to clients on the risk-based needs associated with auto and home, investment properties, commercial, and farm and ranch coverage. Their commitment to quality and service allows them to compare multiple markets, coverage, and price to give you the best possible value. Texas General Insurance Agency appreciates the opportunity to learn how they can work for you. Call one of their experienced agents today at 713-622-5977. That's 713-622-5977. Or go to texasgeneralinsurance.com.
Investor loans offering up to 100% financing are still available. You just have to know where to look.
So for those on
look
Facebook
no further
and YouTube
than
and
Noble
all that,
Mortgage. Noble Mortgage is a full-service mortgage company that's been helping investors since 2003. Noble Mortgage offers up to 100% financing to investors that covers purchase, repairs, and closing costs. In addition to private money, Noble Mortgage offers conventional loans, FHA, and even no-income documentation loans for both residential and commercial properties. Call and ask about our 5-point guarantee, which includes free pre-qualifications within 2 business days. Call 713-680-8100 or visit noblemoney.com. That's noblemoney.com. Our team has over 50 years experience in the mortgage industry. Call us today, 713-680-8100, or visit us on the web, noblemoney.com, noblemoney.com.
NMLS 292143, 8203 Willow Place Drive, Houston, Texas, 77070.
Spokesperson is not a client.
Are you a man facing divorce? A divorce that perhaps you didn't even want? This is Barry Sanders. I've been there. I know firsthand the stress and pain of divorce. A lot of people think that because I was a pro athlete and enjoyed a lot of success on and off the field, that somehow I am immune to such things. The fact is, I went through a divorce a few years ago, and like you, I worried about my children, my assets, and my family. When I got a divorce, I didn't know of Cordell & Cordell, but now I do. I took the time to meet and talk with Cordell & Cordell clients and attorneys, and I can tell you that Cordell & Cordell has represented thousands of men just like you and me. If you're a man facing a divorce, consider Cordell & Cordell, a partner men can count on.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Texas attorneys. Online at CordellCordell.com.
Okay.
That's CordellCordell.com. Offices in Houston, the Woodlands, St. Louis, and by appointment only in Sugar Land and League City. Joseph Cordell, Principal Partner.
This is Business 1110.
Hot mics in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back. It's Jason Bible, RightPath Real Estate. If you've got questions for me, 713-785-1817. For the break, I was talking about the event I was at this weekend. We had a Friday night little get-together at Tavern Hall, which is in downtown Bellevue, which I hadn't been to Bellevue before. I've been to Seattle before, and it's a really nice little town. All those little cities there that are peppered outside of Seattle are just real nice. Kind of reminds me of Houston, and we've got the Woodlands and Spring and Sugar Land and all that. So you've got all these nice little communities in and around Seattle. But rest assured, the traffic's horrible in all of them. So that's the only problem with going up there. You got to get there early. So we had an event Friday night, just a couple of us hanging out at Tavern Hall there. And then I was at the Quest IRA event all day on Saturday, which, by the way, Quest IRA will be here on Wednesday. So that'll be a lot of fun. I think Nathan Long will actually be here. But in any case, let's go back to the conversation I have with, and this is somewhere between 50 to 70% of the time I have this conversation. So it's all the time. And it starts out with, hey, that was a really cool presentation you guys gave. Now tell me what the real secret is. And I'm like, there's not any real secret. I mean, it's like basic business stuff. It's you make money, you put it back into the company, make more money, put it back in the company, make more money, put it back into the company, make more money. I mean, you just continue to reinvest it until it grows and grows and grows and grows. And now all of a sudden you've got this just deal-making machine. That's really what we built. And so then I'd say, well, what's kind of going on in your business? And this is the typical conversation. Well, I've been working real hard. I've been doing some marketing and making some offers, and it just doesn't seem like anybody wants to sell their house. And, this market's probably different. And it's a lot harder out here. And I'm like, no, it's not. Trust me. Last night I was with a bunch of new investors, been doing this less than a year, and they're getting deals in your market. So what is it that you're doing? Well, I'm making these offers, but nobody wants to sell. How? And this is my favorite question. How do you get people to sell your house? What do you mean, how do I get people to sell their house? How do you get people to sell their house to you? How do you get people to do that? I said, well, you don't. What do you mean you don't? I mean, the minute you start negotiating someone's desire, one of the things we say in my class that's coming up the end of October is you will run out of money long before a seller runs into motivation. And it goes back to desire. Do they want to sell their house or not? And if they don't, great. Hey, when do you want me to catch back up with you? When do you want me to call you back? When do you think you'll be ready? Oh, man, Jason, I just don't run into those people. And then usually about 10, 15 minutes of this kind of round and round discussion, I then get right to the heart of the matter. One of the things I realized is when I ask this question at first, it really puts a lot of people off because it immediately tells me how hard they're working. I mean, just instantly. A couple of years ago, I was getting recruited for a job, and I got to meet the COO and one of his vice presidents. And usually when I go on a job interview, it typically turns into me interviewing them because I want to make sure it's a good place for me. And I carry a portfolio of some of the reports and products that I'd produce at different jobs I worked for, as long as it wasn't proprietary and I wasn't giving any, super secret information away. So I'll never forget, one of the things I was famous for is building metrics. Some of y'all, particularly oil and gas folks, you call them KPIs. So all they really are is they're activities that drive results in the business. But you can put these things together and you can very quickly see where the problems are in the business. And one of the things the COO told me is he said, Jason, there are very few people that can put this together in such a way that it's easy to explain what you're doing to other people. And that's what we did. I mean, I spent a lot of time in the biomedical research realm, and we had to build all these different data sets and explain what's going on to folks who are not in this environment all the time. And it was highly technical stuff. So we had to be able to communicate our activities and our results in such a way that made sense to people who are not in the industry. So in doing that, you can very quickly assess if anyone's successful or not. And this COO told me, you have got to be careful with this kind of stuff. And I said, why is that? He said, because it's incredibly intimidating to be able to sit down and have your entire job, if you will, or the products you produce distilled down to a couple of numbers in a box. He said, guys like you and I, we love this kind of stuff. We're just trying to drive results. But he said, if you're not meeting with results, truly results-oriented people, this type of stuff is very scary. So I'd always taken that. I mean, he was dead serious with me too. And I'd always taken that really to heart to say, okay, you've got to be really careful when you just distill stuff down into its essential elements, if you will. So I'm chatting with this guy, and I ask him the question, and this is all I have to ask. How many offers did you make last month? Typically, I used to say, how many houses did you buy last month? But then I already know the answer to that. It's 0. How many did you buy the month before? 0. How many did you buy last year? 0. So now I ask the question the other way, which is an activity. See, buying a house, lending on a house, renting a house, that's a result. So I have to back all the way into the activity. How many offers did you make last month? Well, I made 5. Yeah, you're not going to buy a house making 5 offers. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen in your market. It's not going to happen in my market. If you're in any of the major markets in the United States, not going to happen. If you're in any market that has more than about 500,000 people in it, 5 offers a month ain't going to get you anything. You need to be making, I got a buddy of mine that does some real estate education. He and I were chatting. Actually, I'm in a mastermind group with him, and he's helping us with RightPath Real Estate. You know, the things I need to do, what's a website need to look like, all that kind of stuff. Because, you guys are seeing it. We don't know how to run a real estate education company. I mean, this is a new venture for us, right? So what did I do? I went out and found an expert that I really liked. Actually, I got 2 of them. So we're learning this business just like you're learning how to do real estate from us. We're learning how to do real estate education for you. It's kind of cool that way if you think about it. So when you sit down and you say, okay, well, 5 offers ain't going to do it, one of the things that my buddy says in his real estate education company is, hey, did you make your 5 offers this week? That's his deal with his students. Did you make 5 offers this week? Because if you're not making offers, you ain't buying. It's that simple. And if you're not putting out your marketing, you're not get a chance to make any offers. It's so simple. Yeah, but Jason, surely there's a way I can do this without any money or time. No, there is not. You've got to have money or time. Actually, you got to have a little bit of both. This whole I can do this without any money and without any time, no, you can't. Sure, there's somebody out there that'll say, oh, yeah, I only spend an hour a week on my real estate business, and I started it with $10, and now I'm a billionaire. Yeah, you're about 1 in 1 bazillion that'll ever do that. One of my favorite stories to tell, our office here is just inside the Beltway south of Harwin. We actually call it Chinatown. If you ever come by our office, the street signs are in English and they're in Mandarin. And there's a woman right down the street here on the corner. There's a couple of Class C apartment complexes around here. She sells tacos out of a grocery cart that she stole from one of the local grocery stores. Sells tacos. I see her every morning. Now, I bet those tacos are great, but I'm not willing to chance it. So I go down to this place called the Taco House. That's where I was this morning before I got on the radio. Great place. But let's go back to our girl. I call her Marta. We got Marta on the corner here, and she's selling tacos out of her basket. And Marta is technically a restaurant entrepreneur. She is. She's got a business. She has a place she does business, and she sells tacos out of her little basket. There's a guy here in town, last name is Fertitta, and Mr. Fertitta, very, very successful restaurant entrepreneur. If you're familiar with any of the Papas brands, Pappasitos, Papa Do's, Papa's Burgers, all those, that's his company. That's his group of brands. He is also a restaurant entrepreneur in the same business as Marta on the corner. Now, I can tell you that most real estate education companies out there
2 minutes
are teaching real estate to people to run their business like Marta. You know, Marta she makes her stuff in her kitchen there at the apartment, takes this grocery cart out there, and then sells stuff on the corner. It's just her. Most 99.9% of real estate educators out there are not teaching people how to be Fertitta, the guy that's got brands all over the city. If he's not a billionaire, I'd be shocked. You've got to ask yourself, do you want to be Marta on the corner, or do you want to be like a guy like Fertitta who's got restaurants all over town? And I'll tell you how those businesses are run. Don't get me wrong, the capital, you got to have the capital to be able to do it. But I'll tell you, just the operation is what makes them so different in their level of success.
1 minute.
We get back from the break, we're going to talk more about success in real estate, building a business, and what it takes to be successful. This is Jason Bible, RightPath Real Estate.
Your mic's off.
Sweet. All right, here we go. I got some questions.
Are you expecting to close accurately, on time, and with lots of communication on your home purchase? You've come to the right place. I'm Jennifer Hernandez, Senior Loan Officer with Legacy Mutual Mortgage. Our goal is to give our borrowers and referral partners
Tang,
an amazing experience during the
loan
process. My team believes in putting people and culture before results. Our company concentrates on building those teams who operate with structure, process, and recognition for going the extra mile for you. This way, we have the energy to make this your best home purchase ever. Give us a call today to find out the simple steps to get started. I'm Jennifer Hernandez, the Hernandez team at Legacy Mutual Mortgage. Jennifer.legacymutual.com or call 713-579-3611. Again, Jennifer.legacymutual.com. We can't wait to consult with you soon. NMLS 514497.
Equal Housing Opportunity Lender. NMLS 514497.
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties, whether it's a flip rehab or a rental rehab. We manage every aspect of a rehab from start to finish with a highly efficient, standardized process.
Over the last 5 years, Fast Track has completed over 500 projects, which has helped us create our 3 keys to success. Use a detailed scope of work so that everything gets done, train and maintain quality crews so it gets done right, and complete the work in a proper order so it gets done fast.
No more managing it yourself, no more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at 832-742-9992. Again, that's 832-742-9992 or on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Real estate investors, if you're not familiar with Quest IRA, let me tell you what you're missing. We've got free weekly educational classes, networking opportunities, and the ability to tap into trillions of dollars for your real estate investing deals. Come by our office or join us remotely as we simulcast all of our educational classes every Tuesday morning and evening. For more information, call us at 1-855 fun IRAs, or visit our website at questira.com.
Do you want to learn how to buy 200 houses in less than 3 years? Well, folks, we've done it. This is Jason Bible of RightPath Real Estate. We've got a weekend retreat coming up October 20th, 29th, and 30th here in Houston, Texas at Memorial City Center. We're teaching our students how to find, fund, and market for real estate deals. So if you want to learn how to do 200 houses like we have, come to that event. Go to rightpathrealestate.com or give us a call, 281-888-9555 to sign up for our weekend retreat.
It's estimated that 9 out of 10 individual investors fight a losing battle against the big institutions. So what can you do about it? Hi, I'm Mary Beth Motisi, owner of Online Trading Academy here in Houston. Listen to Power Trading Hour to learn how the markets really work and how to think and act like the professionals. Call us at 281-820-8905 to register for our complimentary half-day class. Find out more at HoustonOTA.com and listen to Power Trading Hour, weekdays at 2 p.m. on Business 1110 KTEK.
Politics is big business. In fact, it's the biggest business of all, and it directly affects every business in this country. Tune into your afternoon drive each weekday at 5, where we discuss news and politics that impact us right here in the Bayou City. Remember the afternoon drive with me, Chris Blaney, weekdays at 5, right here on Business 1110 KTEK.
This is Business 1110.
All right, Jason. Hot mics. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is Jason Bible, RightPath Real Estate. I've got a buddy of mine, Chris Blaney. You just heard his commercial about 2 seconds ago. He does a radio show here on the same station. And we were chatting one day, and he said, if you ever wonder how many people are listening to your show, just say something that's wrong and see how fast folks come after you or send you a note. So I just got this note. Tillman Fertitta actually owns the Landry's brand. So it's Landry's, Saltgrass, Bubba Gump Shrimp Company. And, of course, he just built the Golden Nugget there out in Louisiana. So, and he actually sent me this note. It said, according to the internet, his net worth is about $2.7 billion. So the concept is still the same. You know, he is technically a restaurant entrepreneur, just like the lady here down the street from our office that sells tacos on the side of the street. But I can tell you how they run their businesses. One really runs it like a business, and the other one runs it like a taco stand on the side of the road. And that's the difference, right? It's the operation. It's that value proposition and how they operate it that makes him so incredibly successful. So, all right, looks like we got a caller. Mike, you're on with Jason Bible of RightPath Real Estate.
Hi, Jason.
What can I do for you?
Listen to you guys every day. You guys are great. Answer a lot of questions for me. But I'm an investor. I'm meeting with a landlord today who wants to sell. Mm-hmm. He has a tenant from hell. I told him that I need to make an appointment to see his property. And he said, that's going to be a problem because when I go to collect the rent, he threatens me with a knife.
Man, that's not good.
Yeah, so I wanted to know how you guys would handle this situation.
Well, we have bought houses sight unseen before. So, hey, look, if I can't get in the house, I've got to make you an offer that assumes that the house needs a complete rehab. In other words, there's nothing but sticks on the inside of the house. So that's how we'd make that offer. And we've done that, and we've had sellers accept offers like that. It's like, look, I'd love to give you more.
$30 a foot rehab?
Yeah, it's going to depend on what the neighborhood looks like. Could be 30, could be $40 a square foot. So, yeah, it's a major price reduction. And you know what we tell the seller? It's like, look, I can buy a house without going into it, but I've got to assume it needs everything. And if you can get me in the house, I can offer you more for it, right? I mean, that seems somewhat reasonable. So that's the way we would do it. So yeah, just assume it needs everything.
What if you're not using cash, you're using hard money, you need an appraiser to get in there, before you close? So any advice?
I would have the same conversation with a hard money lender. In other words, hey, look, we can't get into this thing. This is a dangerous situation. How do you guys want to underwrite the risk? Because that's really what they're doing. Okay. Most hard money lenders, this is going to be, this is kind of inside baseball stuff. When you get most hard money lenders, they use a combination of private money and bank financing. And typically they'll get an appraisal, and sometimes they'll go into the house and they'll do the as-is appraisal. Then they'll look at your rehab and they'll figure out how much the rehab is supposed to cost, and then they'll figure out obviously what the house is worth once it's finished. A lot of banks do a drive-by appraisal. In other words, they just want to make sure the house is there, which is a little bit different. But that's banks for like bank lines of credit and those sorts of things. That's what some of them do. Unfortunately, if all your hard money lenders say, hey, we got to get into this thing, then you're kind of stuck with, well, I mean, you guys are not going to be able to lend on this particular deal. At that point, I would look at working with a private money lender or possibly partner with someone who is a private lender. And I know this strategy for folks listening on the radio sounds really risky. But the reality is that how you take the risk out of real estate is paying less for it. So you kind of ask yourself, is there a number in which you can't say no? Right? Does that kind of make sense? Like if they just called you up and all things being equal, right? Like they're the actual seller, you can get clear title, all that other stuff. Is there a number in which you literally cannot say no? Is that $1,000? Is that $10,000? Is it $20,000? I mean, whatever that number is, and that's the offer you got to make. And then dealing with the tenant's a whole other issue.
On that subject, would you recommend trying to start the eviction process before closing? Like, say, set the closing out like 6 weeks and have the owner start the eviction process so it would be nice and clean at closing?
You can, but my preference for these things is to do the eviction myself, is to manage that whole, and there's a way that you can actually do that on behalf of the seller, but my preference is just to go in and buy it and then manage the entire problem. Does that kind of make sense? Because really, you're getting the best number because you're the guy that's got to fix the problem. And the landlord sounds like they just want to get rid of this thing. And then I also wouldn't want the tenant to know that they're selling the property. So you're going through this eviction process, and my preference would be just to buy it and then start the eviction. Like the day of closing.
Okay.
So
all right. Well, great. I appreciate the information, Jason.
Great. Thanks for listening, Mike, and good luck. Call us back if you get it under contract, and give us kind of an update and some stories about how it all worked out.
Okay. If I get stabbed, I'll let you know.
Don't go to the house. Don't do that. I'll tell you that. I will tell you this in all seriousness. There is a story. I have to go digging around on Facebook to find it. 2 real estate investors bought a house. They had evicted the tenant. They went back to see if the tenant had left, and they hadn't left yet. They got into an altercation, and both the investors got killed. So when you deal with something like this, I mean, this is pretty serious stuff. You can get hurt. You can get killed. So highly recommend, if you close on it, send the notice. I wouldn't get involved in any of that kind of stuff. You don't want to meet this person. I mean, they're half crazy as it is. So there's some other legal remedies you can do, especially when there's threat of violence and that sort of thing. But that's probably chat with your attorney, and they can help you out with that. But yeah, I'd want to stay as far away from this thing as possible. The next time you show up at that house after you bought it is with the constable to make sure they're not there. That's how I would do this. Yeah, we would take the police with us, because that's especially when it gets this ugly. But yeah, give us a call. I'd love to hear an update.
All right, thanks, Jason.
All right, thanks, Mike.
All right, take care.
So as I was saying before the last break, the reality is that like the story I was talking about, John, who I'd met this past weekend, his story is so similar to a lot of people that, well, I only made 5 offers and I didn't get any deals. You're going to have to make some more offers. You're going to have to spend some money. You're going to have to spend your time. If you don't have time or money, you don't have a business. I I mean, let's be real here. I mean, Mike just called. He was a landlord, and he's running it like a business. You got to run this thing like a business. It's not show up on MLS, make a couple of offers, and kind of rent the house out. Can you do that if you're buying 1 or 2 houses a year? Sure. You sure can. Put them on 15-year notes. And you want the easy retirement track, the somewhat easy retirement track? You go in there and buy a rental property every year. In fact, our CPA and attorney, the one that files all of our taxes for us, we've been going back and forth a whole lot because we've got taxes are due next week. And one of the things he tells all his clients, and he's got a bunch of clients that are not real estate people, but he tells them, he's like, look, just buy a house a year, 1 house a year, and put those bad boys on 15-year notes. Put it on a 15-year note somewhere between year 7 and year 9. You can sell the other half of your portfolio. So sell half your portfolio, and you can typically pay off the other properties. So 1 house a year, 15-year notes, it just slowly but surely pays them off. I'll tell you the strategy a couple of the guys up at Quest are doing, and this is not legal tax or financial advice, but I can tell you what some of the folks up at investors that have got accounts over at Quest, they're buying properties subject to in their kids' Coverdell accounts. So what's that doing? Well, they're buying a house sub 2. They're getting rental cash flow, let's say while the kids are young. And by the time those kids go to college, a significant portion of the house is paid off. I mean, how cool is that? You're a couple $1,000s out of pocket for closing and maybe some rehab. Cash flow is going right back to the IRA, or in this case, it's a education account. Goes right back in there tax-free, and then they're taking those earnings and paying for college with them. So for those of y'all out there that are killing yourselves to pay for your kids' college, stop. Just stop doing that.
2 minutes.
One thing that always blew me away, even before I got into real estate, as I was learning investing and going to business school and all that stuff, is the number of Americans that won't save for retirement, but are willing to pay for their kids' college. I mean, your kid's going to be in school for a couple of years, and all their best earning years are ahead of them. And here are these poor parents who haven't even saved up for retirement. They're going to get killed in retirement or work until literally the day they die to pay for their kids' college. Paying for a kid's college is pretty easy with an education savings account and buying some little houses subject to. Really not that hard. I mean, buying a handful of houses when they're, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, buying 2 or 3 houses over the next, 2 or 3 years, subject to, putting them into that Coverdell account, and then having that property paid off or close to being paid off by the time they go to college. You know what's great about rental properties is really what a rental property is? It's a long play flip. Like you're holding on to it long term, and then you get to pick at what point in the market you get to sell it. It's unlike any other, don't get me wrong, there are financial instruments out there that pay some sort of dividend, but they're not paying 20 and 30% dividends, right? So here you've got this little rental property that's cash flowing you into your kid's Coverdell, $300, $400, $500 a month. And then by the time you sell it, 10, 12, 13, 14 years down the road, when you sell that for your son or daughter, for them to go to college, what's that house worth by then? Not only has the tenant paid most of the mortgage off, but it's highly likely that house is appreciated. We'll get back from the break. We're going to talk more about real estate business. And I'll tell you a little bit more of John's stories. Jason Bible, RightPath Real Estate.
Your mic's off.
Did you know that there are over $24 trillion in retirement accounts?
And a Quest IRA commercial.
Imagine if you could use someone's IRA to fund all of your deals. Well, you can. Quest IRA is based locally here in Houston, Texas. At Quest IRA, we offer retirement accounts that can be used to invest in real estate, promissory notes, private entities, and much more. Many of our clients loan money from their IRAs to fund real estate deals all over the country. We don't sell any investments or give advice. However, we do hold free networking events, weekly educational classes, and free consultations with an IRA specialist. For more information, visit our website at questira.com or call us at 1-855-FUN-IRAs. To tap into the $24 trillion in retirement accounts in the U.S., call Quest IRA at 1-855-FUN-IRAs or go to our website, questira.com.
From Conroe to Galveston, Orange to Flatonia, and all points in between, Texas General Insurance Agency is trusted by individuals and businesses across the great state of Texas. Whether you're searching for the best auto insurance in Fort Bend, a flood policy for a Galveston beach property, or coverage for your rental and investment homes in Houston, Texas General Insurance Agency understands your unique needs. Throughout the Lone Star State, their experienced and trusted independent agents offer guidance to clients on the risk-based needs associated with auto and home, investment properties, commercial, and farm and ranch coverage. Their commitment to quality and service allows them to compare multiple markets, coverage, and price to give you the best possible value. Texas General Insurance Agency appreciates the opportunity to learn how they can work for you. Call one of their experienced agents today at 713-622-5977. That's 713-622-5977. Or go to texasgeneralinsurance.com.
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property?
Yes, we are.
Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties, whether it's a flip, rehab, or a rental rehab. No more managing it yourself. No more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at 832-742-9992.
Better education, stronger economy, effective leadership, these are the pillars that Dr. Brian Chu believes are essential for a solid community and economy. Brian knows firsthand the privileges and rights that America offers its citizens. He's achieved the American dream and now wants to give back by serving you. Learn more about the evolution of his conservative values and work ethic online at brianchufortexas.com. Support Dr. Brian Chu for the Texas House District 149. Learn more at brianchufortexas.com.
Do you want to learn how to buy 200 houses in less than 3 years? Well, folks, we've done it. This is Jason Bible of RightPath Real Estate. We've got a weekend retreat coming up October 28th, 29th, and 30th here in Houston, Texas at Memorial City Center. We're teaching our students how to find, fund, and market for real estate deals. So if you want to learn how to do 200 houses like we have, come to that event. Go to rightpathrealestate.com or give us a call, 281-888-9555 to sign up for our weekend retreat.
Do your teeth hurt? Do you have cavities or need your teeth cleaned but won't go to the dentist because you don't have dental insurance? Well, you don't have to wait any longer. Cypress Creek Family Dental offers the quality dental program for those who don't have dental insurance. No deductibles, no yearly maximums, and no waiting periods. It includes 2 cleanings per year, an exam, and a discount on all procedures. Call Cypress Creek Family Dental today at 281-440-1050. That's 281-440-1050 or online at championsdentist.com.
This is Business 1110.
Hot mics, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back. Jason Bible, RightPath Real Estate. A couple of questions here. Have you used a virtual assistant? Any bilingual speakers? I'm at the point where I need to hire one. Any advice is much appreciated. So what we use virtual assistants for, so these are folks that are not in our office. They're essentially contract labor. And what we use virtual assistants for is on the marketing side, on data mining. You know, they don't actually have any real interaction with our customers. I will tell you this. One of the things that's really fascinating to me when you hear real estate educators talk about hiring people, they'll say, oh, hire an intern, or hey, hire, like a buddy that's unemployed that needs a job. And I'll tell you, all of those are terrible strategies. The best people we've ever hired are people we couldn't afford at the time. Let's say that again. The best people we ever hired were the people we couldn't afford. And the reason we couldn't afford them is because we were going to grow into the level that they're suited for. So what's that mean? That means you don't look at hiring employees as an overhead. They're not an expense. If you hire the right people, they generate revenue way outside what you pay them. That's kind of what, it's interesting. I don't want to talk about politics today, but it's interesting when you hear the political folks talk about jobs and creating jobs. What they don't realize is jobs get created when businesses are making money. It's that simple. And those employees need to bring more value to the employer or they don't hire. It's that simple. I would hire 100 people today if they could make me more money than it would cost for me to hire them. I know that sounds really simplistic, but it's true.
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Companies are not a make-work project. They're there to make money. In fact, you could even argue the same thing about nonprofits. You hire people to bring more value than you pay them. Simple. That's it. So when you go out and hire highly, highly talented people, they're going to allow you to leverage up. It's interesting. I was watching one of Quincy Long. He's the owner over there of Quest IRA. And I was watching one of his presentations, and he was talking about leverage. And he said, my employees are my leverage. And he's right. Because he can't run that whole business by himself. There's no way. I think he's got like 50 or 60 people over there. I mean, it's impossible. We can't run all 3 of our businesses.
1 minute.
I told somebody this weekend there are 17 people in all 3 of our companies. Impossible for us to do it without employees. So that's what I'd recommend. Folks, Tom will be here tomorrow. We'll do a lot of interviews this week and next with some of our great vendors. And we will see you tomorrow mornings. Jason Bible, RightPath Real Estate.
Oops, mic's off.
You've been listening to RightPath Real Estate.
All right,
Radio.
Nikki.
Find Jason and Tom
Hi, good man. I will see you on Wednesday.
All right, bye.
You can put the fear behind you and